Welcome to In Defense Of, making the case for overlooked, forgotten, or derided movies in 5 minutes or less. If you don't have 5 minutes, here's 5 seconds. Today, in defense of Scarecrows, a 1988 VHS classic that doesn't get its dues nowadays.
Damn it! I can't believe it! Jack, what's wrong? I dropped my harmonica!
A paramilitary group's plans to steal $3 million and hijack a plane to Mexico is ruined when one of them bails out with the money. The group, along with the plane's kidnapped pilot and his daughter, pursue the turncoat into a rundown farm guarded by some menacing scarecrows. As they attempt to recover their ill-gotten gains, the straw-filled locals dispatch them one by one.
Let's make a deal!
If you hear the plot of a movie is mercenaries fight living scarecrows and don't feel even a slight swelling of glee, there's probably not much I can say to win you over. From its first moment, Scarecrows does a lot with little. This could easily have been a cheap throwaway quickie where a bunch of teenagers are offed by stuntmen in dodgy straw costumes. The choices made by the filmmakers and their attention to detail proudly elevate it above slashers of the same era. For example, our characters could have been low-level hoodlums on the run after robbing a small-town bank. But they're not. They're very deliberately mercenaries equipped with military weaponry and technology who have lifted millions of dollars from Camp Pendleton and cut a bloody swathe on the way out. These are serious professionals, trained to kill. This is seriously more interesting in terms of plot, and it adds a theme of technology facing off against the old ways that wouldn't have been present otherwise. Guns and night vision goggles are no match for pitchforks and carving knives. On a very base horror level, the movie looks creepy and atmospheric, far above and beyond its $400,000 budget. On a higher filmmaking level, Scarecrow's visuals have a solid cinematic language about them. Here are some examples of that. After the first Scarecrow kill, we see a generator kick into life, water starts flowing and a windmill turns. After the final kill, they all stop. The scarecrows and the farm are one and the same. There's no meathead or nerd or bimbo here. Each character has their own little motif that helps them avoid the stock slasher tropes of the day. Playing a harmonica or nervously rolling dice are minor qualities to have, but they do help flesh out these characters beyond horror stereotypes. Upon first searching the farmhouse, Curry notices a knife in a tree stump. In the final act, while he searches for an intruder, he returns to that same room and the knife is missing. Guess how Curry dies? The scarecrows look seriously excellent. We're never given a concrete explanation as to their origins or motivations. It is implied that they were once people who lived on the farm, via this shot which is shown 6 times. This is another solid filmmaking choice. Like Heath Ledger's Joker or Rutger Hauer's Hitcher, the act of speculating on their nature, which the characters do, is more interesting than any concrete explanation the filmmakers could come up with.
We got away too clean, don't you see that? Then we land here, see? And then it's Bird, and then it's Jack, and then it's all of us, just one by one, all of us.
It's also notable that the crew for this movie was almost entirely first-timers who went on to be major players. Too many to mention in fact, so I'll pick out 2. Norman Cabrera did the scarecrow effects, and the cinematography, which when it comes down to it is the one thing that makes Scarecrows look far better than it has any right to be, is by Peter Deming. I think what I really love about Scarecrows is that it stands alone. When the movie ends, it doesn't offer up the possibility of a sequel or shoehorn in a final scare. The night is over, the story is finished. I find that deeply satisfying in a genre that always wants to keep the door open.
The money. He ate the goddamn money.
You probably have heard of it. Scarecrows was ever present in VHS rental shops and on TV in the 80s and 90s. Most horror fans have had some dalliance with it, but I don't think it gets the recognition it deserves. The number one complaint that I see in reviews is that Scarecrows is slow. Guilty as charged. For a film that only scrapes its 80-minute runtime via some lengthy credit sequences, it really doesn't kick into gear until about 50 minutes in. The first time I saw it, I tapped out at the 25-minute mark after nothing appeared to be happening. You do need to watch the whole thing for that slow building tension to work, for those visual references to pay off. The final act is so worth it. The character of Bert has these strange internal monologues.
The money. I was right behind it. Then it dropped by these crosses.
Nobody else gets internal monologues, and it's not like he's saying anything that we can't infer from his actions. It's all a bit Blade Runner-y and very out of place. There's also this dodgy grenade effect. Prince of Darkness. Scarecrows does what John Carpenter did for the bulk of his career, maximise limitations. Both of these movies follows a group of people trying to survive a night in a single location as a supernatural force possesses and kills them. This actually goes full circle quite nicely. Carpenter puts out music these days, and the video for his song Utopian Facade features a character who strongly resembles Jack's Scarecrow form.
I mean, we're not really here. This isn't real. I mean, we're here, but...
Atmospheric, beautifully shot and full of smart character and filmmaking decisions. Scarecrows is not just a great lesson in how to make an independent horror movie, but on how to make an independent movie full stop. Years ago I saw this BBC kids show called Somerton Mill. It's about an old water mill attached to a dilapidated building that occasionally starts turning, causing people from the past to rematerialise. After a while the mill stops turning and everyone disappears again. It's identical to the farm utilities activating and shutting down with the Scarecrows. I like that this thematic device can show up in both television aimed at preschoolers and a nasty horror film. The bulk of Somerton Mill is on YouTube, but I can't watch it. It's really charming, but something about the whole concept breaks my heart.